And welcome to Let's Fly VFR. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, a bit of a tutorial just for something different. We're going to fly here from glorious and quite green Adelaide Parafield Airport. Don't forget to subscribe and like, guys, you know the deal. Enjoy the channel, love to have you on board. Hit that subscribe for me. So today we're going to play with the GPS. Something I've not done a lot of and probably avoided, so I've taken a little bit of time to have a look at it and wanted to show you how to go back getting it and using it. So especially if you're new to X-Plane, so the way to get this window up, as you see here, is click on the screen on the cockpit. Okay, use your mouse, just click on it, it'll pop out. You can make this bigger and smaller, you can drag it off to another screen if you happen to have another screen or an iPad that is on the same network. Is something I believe you can do, guys, if you want. So you can have your GPS separate of your main screen. So here we are. I'm just clearing this. So you can hit the FPL button on the bottom there, third from the right, and you can bring up your flight plan. What I did was I hit clear, CLR, and then once it was highlighted, I hit enter and then enter again, just to get rid of the last flight that I was doing. And then here we are. We're going to put in YPPF, which it automatically does. It picks up your location automatically and drops it in the first bar. And then we're going to cycle through and we're going to go to Gully, G-U-L-L-Y. Then we're going to fly to Cookie, C-O-O-K-Y, and then back into YPAD, which is Adelaide International Airport. So basically we're just going to fly out, do a loop, and then come back and land at Adelaide International. So you can see I'm just punching in all the letters here. Now the way you do that, if you look down on the push cursor, if you push the center of that right hand big wheel at the right hand bottom of the screen there, or the right hand bottom of the GPS, that will highlight the position you're at. Then you can use the inner and outer wheels, so you can use the inner wheels to cycle through the letter. Okay, when you have your little cursor and your mouse right at the very edge of it, you'll see a little set of arrows up and down. If you move it further out, you'll get a larger one. So the larger ring, you can use that to cycle. You can go forward if it's on the right, you can go back if it's on the left, depending on where you go, because you go from A to Z, then all the numbers. If you need a number, then it's easy to go back, often from where you start. So push the cursors to highlight. Push the inner ring to select the letter that you want. By just continue clicking on it, it'll cycle through, as you can see me doing there. And then once you've got one done, again I just clicked on the outside ring and it stepped across. You can see the cursor moving until I get all the letters that I want. So this is cookie, so we need a Y. There we go, and you know it's right, and it even gives you its latitude and longitude, or east and west. So we went enter and enter, and we're all ready to go. Now we want to put in our last place, which is, so we need to go back and get a Y to start with for Australia, or at least my local area. I think it's Y everywhere in Australia, but okay, so we cycle through to Y, click the outer ring to move it along, go back to the inner ring and cycle through the letters. So we got A there, that was pretty quick. Cycle across. Oh, we don't want A, do we? We want a YP. We need a P, then cycle across, get your A, which is good, already there, and then one click for a D, and we've got Adelaide International. So we're all good. We want to accept, yes, hit the enter, and you can see it there. Now the system will automatically drop off as we leave Parafield and we're going to Gully. Parafield will drop off. You're going to be left with Gully, Cookie, and YPAD. When we get to Gully, it will drop off, and then you'll be left with just Cookie and YPAD as you go through. And when we eventually get to Adelaide Airport, then that will be the only one there, because that'll be our current location. Pretty easy. So again, if you look on the screen there, you can see Salis and all these other places. That you can use those as navigation points to get anywhere you want to in your own country. You'll be able to find those. If you want a better list, you can hit M and pull up the map, and then you can follow the airwaves. You want low airways and not VFR. and then you'll have all these different little points that you can pick, and you can make basically a road in the sky down them to wherever you want to get to. So we've got all programmed. Let's taxi out, and we will maybe have another quick look, because I have got to say I wasn't super confident. I couldn't see any lines on the GPS, and I expected to see some lines, but I thought, well, we'll taxi out and then we'll have another little look at it. Getting really great FPS at the moment. I don't know if that's something we've got in an update or what, but I'm getting around about 50 FPS at the moment, so it's either turn up the settings a little bit more or be really happy with how clear it is. I'm still really keen to get a VR headset, so if I've got the frames then that'll be good. I think that's something that's in my not too distant future, and I'll be looking forward to having a bit of a bash with that. I'm thinking about the S, about going that path, because that's really the entry level, and I haven't got $1 million to throw at maybe the most expensive Pi 8K or whatever it might be. So anyway, we'll taxi out and we'll enjoy this. Now we're going to come out. Adelaide Parafield has 2 runways going in this direction and back, and then we have 2 runways back behind us, so we're not going to go over there at the moment, but we will turn around here and we will do our magneto checks. So just taxiing around, we'll come back into a stop. You really need to check where the wind is coming from. You should point yourself into the wind. I'm just having a bit of a guess, okay, for the moment. You should check the weather. But it's more interesting just going through the procedures that we have here with this. So if you haven't done this check before, what we're doing is making sure the 2 magnetos, it's like having 2 distributors on your car, making sure they're both working. So what we do is we run it up to about 1700 RPM. You can see the tacho down the bottom right hand gauge there, you can see it moving around. What we do is we just bring the power up to 1700, and then you use the mouse and click it. You can click left and right on the key. So you usually click it once left, you go to one system and not 2. You go to a right, and then you go to a left. You go off to 1, go back up to both, and then click twice, go down to check the other side. You're just making sure both sides are working. So it's all going well. We've got our lines are all up there on the screen, so let's taxi out, and all we're going to do is follow the lines, guys. It's pretty simple once you've got it in, but the challenging bit for maybe for some of you guys is just knowing where to go to get these points. Now there is an alternate. You can go out to some websites out there and get information as well. There's a couple of really good ones that you can use. We'll have I'll just mention those in a second as we're getting ready to go. Looking pretty good sitting there on the runway. It's moving around really nice. It's really smooth, so we get a bit of smoke and stuff happening there. Sky Vector, guys, is where you want to go. It is maybe I'll put a link down the bottom for you, but if you go there, select your own airport and select the map, you'll see all of these pathways. If you go to World Low, if you're flying airliners, you want to go to World High, and you'll see basically all the roads in the sky that aircraft use. That's why you always see them flying in singles and pairs or following each other. When you see them flying above, it's because they're flying on imaginary roads, if you like, within the sky. They're about 10 miles wide, and they come in different altitudes depending on which way you're flying and what's been allocated. And even though you see some flying towards each other, there's always about 1,000 feet between them minimum.
Remaining.
So here we go, taxiing out and flying down this runway.
Caution, short runway, short runway.
Go, rotation at 50, 60, climbing away. A little bit of bit of drift there, right to left, as we climb away. Now I must have a bit of ortho scenery here because it's not normally that green. It's been beautiful and green here for a while, but we've had a couple of weeks of dry weather and it's gone to dusty brown here in Adelaide already, which is really disappointing. But that's what it is. So here we go, over coming up over Salisbury, Parafield, for the area. And we're going to turn around and head east out towards the hills. So we're essentially going to go out over the hills, do a right turn, and then we're going to fly back into Adelaide International, which is, as we come around to look at the hills, it's going to be off to our right. Anyway, so if you can picture that, basically we're doing a bit of a loop. You can go out, around, and then back into our right, although it won't be directly back in because we need to fly towards the airport. It's a pretty easy process once you work out how to do the programming of your waypoints. So you can see here we've also got our direct track to where we want to go, and we've got our current track. So we're going to fly out, we can follow along the pink line. When we get to Gully, it'll step, Gully will disappear, Cookie will be there. We'll fly towards Cookie and then we'll turn around right to come back. Now, you will see when we get close there that we don't actually fly right to Cookie, because it's basically a curved line and takes us back towards Waipat. But this is just an example. If you'd like me to do something a little bit more complicated, it's got a lot of different waypoints, certainly happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments below. So a nice flight out over Adelaide. This is the northern part of Adelaide. My own actual home is just down there to the left in the window. Fly out, so it's climbing pretty well today too, not too much in the front of bad weather or anything. You can see we're tracking that orange line, we're just a little bit off, and if you look at the click on the bottom part of the GPS there, there's that little bit that just come up on screen, and it will tell you if you're on track, if you're a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, or if you're right smack on, and so you can use it in conjunction with the top map if you wish. Directly out to the left there, about middle screen, would have been Gawler, or YGAW, Gawler Airfield. Doing some introductory flights there at this coming month. And we have the Edinburgh Air Show coming up as well, the Edinburgh Air Force Base, which is just to the left out of screen. We go zipping out over the hills. So we haven't really got a long flight, it's just going to take us a little while to get out there. We'll leave the engine running pretty much flat out, I think, for the moment, while we're climbing. Now these different roads in the sky, if you like, these flight paths that you have to take, they are fairly strict that you maintain with. That's what you've allocated to do, and you only vary if you get permission from the controller. If you have some bad weather or something ahead, and you want to vary a variation out to the right or to the left for weather. If you were flying in the real world, that would certainly be worked for you, because at the end of the day, if you're flying the plane, you're the captain, you get to do what you want to do, and ATC are there to help you. Although ATC isn't that flash in X-Plane 11, but it does function. So you can see here we're a little bit to the right. You can see the arrows a little bit right of center on that bottom square on there, and we're just coming around to level it up as we head towards Gully. Now, Gully is actually a real point. I hear it with airliners coming in. I'm sure they come to Gully first and then they line up with Adelaide International. There's that, and Modbury. Modbury is another point. Now, if you do have an interest, you can look for live ATC on the internet, and you can select an airport, and you can select whether it's clearance delivery or In Adelaide they have a number of different controllers. Again, fortunate enough to have been to the control centre, and they have a west, I think they've got a northeast and a couple of westerly ones. We have a lot of traffic coming in from the west, but then we have Sydney and Brisbane and Adelaide, Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne traffic coming in from the east and northeast. So it's all divided up into areas. So if you think, why am I being moved around to different controllers? Even if you in flying around Australia, say you're being controlled by Melbourne Centre, which is quite common, real world or in X-Plane 11, they have allocated areas. So as you go from one area to another within Adelaide, within Melbourne Centre, then you'll get passed to different controllers and you'll be changing frequencies. So we can have a look at that maybe next week as well. We'll have a look at getting the whole package working, moving frequencies and controlling our flight path by using the GPS. So as you can see, we've already passed Gully and we've got Cookie there ahead of us, but it curls around to take us back to Winnipeg. It's smart enough to know that it's where we need to go. So we're doing a right turn as we come around, and we're going to fly back in towards Adelaide International, hopefully for a spectacularly nice landing. And we'll look out there ahead, which you can see the Gulf there ahead of us, the water. On the other side of that, although you can't quite see it, there is another landmass as well. And fly back in over the city, and then we'll fly back in and land at Adelaide International. So you can see on the map there where we came from. You can see why PPF. Flown out, around, and then we've just hooked back in. You can see the line taking us all the way back into Adelaide International. And keep the speed up because we're going to have some jets chasing us. Just looking for it. There we are. Out to the left there, we can see the runway. I'm not quite lined up, so we'll fly straight for a little bit and then we'll going to line up and do a bit of an express landing. See how we go with that. Checking it again. Again, you can grab this and put it anywhere you want. If you grab the corners, you can resize it if you wish. And the top left has that little red button that you can click on and just close it once you've had a little checked your references on it. Okay, so we're back in we're on final. Get ourselves slowed down. We need flaps, yes.
Too high.
And we're probably going to remain a little bit high. We'll get in as quickly as we can. Nice and smooth, I've got to say. Just get those few more FPS up, and it is nice and smooth. So much better than sitting at 20 and 25. You're able to get up into the 30s and 40s. So.
Approaching 2-3.
2-3. And the wind is 0-5. The city there. It's all ortho scenery. We'll do these zoom level 17 to 19, probably 19 as we get in here, guys. If you've got a question about that, I do have a few videos on the channel, both creating airports and
unstable
building tiles for ortho, so you can have some really fantastic scenery. So a little bit on the high. I think we might have one red there, but mainly whites on the Varsity lights. And Adelaide International must be having a quiet moment. It's not too much over there at the moment. And coming in, as we get into the runway, move your vision, look to the far end of the runway, look to the horizon, hold that nose up until the aircraft bleeds speed off. Back wheels are down. And there we go, we've arrived safely from our little flight. So we've gone from YPPF out to Gully, done a right turn around to Cookie, and we've come back into a YPAD. A bit squirrely there. And we're back at Adelaide International Airport. So cruise in and find somewhere nice to park. Now if you haven't visited letsflyvfr.com, please come out and have a bit of a look. We've got information there. I'm trying to fill it up with more tutorials and lessons to help anybody that's a little bit new. We also have a lot of products there if you're interested in getting some new gear. It'd be really helpful and appreciated if you chose to grab something there from Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so if you buy something there, Let's Fly VFR, it does benefit with a little commission, but there's no extra cost to you guys, so I really appreciate it. If you're looking for something like a new monitor, you're looking for a new graphics card, CPU, GPU, joysticks, the whole lot, got it all there. And we've got all those nice people up there waiting as we arrive. Fairly common picture. So I hope that's proven to be helpful for you. Thank you for sitting with me and going through the whole flight. Well, Cessna's looking really nice. And the textures are looking amazing there on the runway. So when it takes away. So look forward to catching you back here at Let's Fly VFR. So send me a message. Drop me a line if you like. Great to hear from you. Love the suggestions. And again, remember, subscribe, like, and I will catch you back here at Let's Fly VFR real soon. Bye bye.